Lunchtime.
It is lunchtime, and I have too many things to talk about.
Too many?
Too many exciting and funny things have
Well,
gone on here at Bald Move.
Pick two.
Just two?
Just two.
Do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Phil?
Yeah, let's start. Let's
Okay.
start with a big, potentially career-ending event here.
Bald Move, in an act of charity, accidentally committed a hate crime. So if you don't know, we did the Groundhog Day revisit Star Wars edition this year, and Jim and his girlfriend had an idea to make these enamel pins that people put on their backpacks and their coats and whatnot. They're very popular, and it'd be a cool idea to take the iconic Phil Groundhog Day, the one that Jim had genetically modified until it had human teeth and eyebrows, and human teeth for eyebrows, and all this other stuff. She's gonna make an enamel pin, one of those, and at some point the Pantene levels or the YMCK or the RGBs got like a value got transposed, and the brown. Okay, let me just show. I'm gonna walk this up to the camera. Because what you're about to see is an offense. Looks like the character that Samuel L. Jackson's played in Django Unchained. I think people kind of get the idea.
Ooh, so blurry.
It's got an unfortunate minstrel vibe. It just came out of and actually that actually looked way lighter.
Yeah.
But it's like a jet
In the
black.
right lighting, you can kind of make it look sort of okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the groundhog fur, the skin was much too dark.
With the contrast to the pink, it was.
And then I'm trying to think of like
ship out to people.
Archaeologists, I don't know, 2,000 years from now. So like you had an idea, okay, maybe we can salvage these because we have 100 of these fucking things, right? Because you have to buy them in batches, and that's the smallest batch.
And there's no point in shipping them back. Who wants these? Like, you could ship them to,
yeah, they're custom. Nobody's going to buy these. So you had an
drive
idea,
them down
okay.
to a truck stop down in Georgia.
Right. Charge $45 each. You had the idea of like spray painting them gold and giving them away or something. And I was thinking of like archaeologists 2,000 years from now. Yeah, they take like old shitty paintings and they start like applying chemicals and peeling off layers of paint, and they see the picture that was actually underneath and go, oh my God, it's Da Vinci. Hidden Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to do that with these pins and go, oh my God, the Bald Move.
These golden rodents, but underneath,
I just see a whole documentary made about Bald Move in the future.
An apparent wave of gold washing overcame the early 21st century as a new wave of racial peace and justice broke out in the 22nd century, and there's a haste to just forget about all the nonsense where we try to pretend that we were that much different because of our skin tones and whatnot.
Yeah,
I can see that happen. Like 1,000 years hence, like who the fuck when did the Dark Ages begin? When did Rome fall? And when did it really fall? And like, when did the last duct stop running? Oh, there's still one going. Jesus, did the Romans ever leave? Like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, it could be a bad situation.
Yeah, everything we know is probably a lie. Okay, so that's one interesting thing to talk about. Another.
I hope our fucking recording of this is not messed up.
Why?
I don't know. It's lagging behind like it was last night when you might have noticed some weird audio like noises in last night's Pet Cemetery podcast, and it's because the audio that I had on my end was completely unused or unmeshable with the audio that you recorded on your end, which was actually good. So I had to use the audio that I recorded of you on Discord, which our connection is not good. Because both of our audio on my end was sped up like a chipmunk.
Well, couldn't you just slow it down?
Yes, but then it didn't match up with your clean audio.
But we're both on the same chipmunk, right?
Well, yes, and that's why the audio sounds bad, because it's coming from Discord recording, not your recording on your end.
Right, but this wouldn't apply, right, on this situation?
No, it would not, but I'm hoping that this isn't chipmunked to where I have to try and,
Okay. Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Slow it down.
Got to figure that out, because it's a rare, like, out of nowhere
It's happened twice now, and it doesn't happen all the time we do remote, but it happened twice, and both times were remote. So.
Well, you really threw me. I had a stride of positivity there, and
Oh, really? The archaeologist
you're-
discovering the
you're-
racist gold, the racist
racist
gold
origins of
painted
bald
bald
move.
move pins.
Okay,
Yeah,
you know, you're right. You're right.
positive message here.
Point withdrawn. I felt like I was on because I was rolling towards.
You were
the high.
gearing up for positive.
I was
okay.
gearing towards a positive high.
Yeah.
We have been on a real roller coaster with Hogwarts Castle, guys. We initially reported when we first signed the lease that we were going to get in there. We thought there'd be no trouble getting in there in like February, March at the latest. You know, there's going to be modest construction fees to get the space finished out, et cetera, et cetera. It turns out that sometimes when you move into a building that was built before the Civil War, those modest fees aren't so modest. It was going to be something like $45,000 of work to put into that wing of the building to bring it up to code, including like updating the fire. There's a whole bunch of things that I guess they haven't had to done since it's unoccupied or there wasn't new construction done. But so we thought we were at a real impasse, so we were going to have to like pass on this. We can kind of going back and forth. Hogwarts Castle, which if you don't know is the St. Aloysius orphanage here in Cincinnati, that still to this day does a lot of work as a school, not an orphanage, as a school for children with all kinds of different emotional and developmental disabilities. Anyway, they decided to offer us some space that they are like currently using, like that's like finished space, but they can move things around to still kind of get us in there. And we came to an agreement to take over their training room, which is almost 800 square foot as opposed to just barely 300 of our old studio. And it's in Hogwarts Castle. It's on the 3rd floor, which is kind of a bummer because we won't have our own entrance and it won't be as bat-cavey as the other place. But everything else, I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. So yeah,
The catch is we're moving in like a week.
That's the thing is like we went from thinking that we were just gonna have to punt until after Game of Thrones to like, oh shit, we can get our new studio together, but now we have to do a massive amount of work right before the biggest show of our season kicks off. So
yeah.
Good news, bad news kind of situation.
Yeah, I think this week's workload is going to be sort of obscene because I've also got to edit Super Serious Film Fest episode.
Cecily's saying that what's going out to YouTube is on chipmunk mode.
Oh yeah, nice.
Let's shut this down.
No, let's keep it going. The chipmunk lunch.
No. Let's shut this down.
Oh, yeah.
Fix it, and we'll be back in like 10 minutes. Or we might just call this whole thing off if it's this bad and we can't fix it.
All right.
This is unprecedented stuff. Unprecedented chipmunkery. I'm Casper, the friendly bearded ghost.
Oh no. Let me make sure I went to the right place. Nope. Well, I think that's back. I don't know.
I'm
Casper, over here to see.
The bearded ghost.
Looks like it's streaming again.
I'm the bearded Sylvanian. I'm the Sylvanian man that went out to the woods and just started growing his own making his own granola. Growing your own granola? You don't grow granola.
Granola? They don't call it granola for nothing.
What the fuck is granola?
Shit. It's still lagging. I hope this is not still chipmunk.
Still chipmunky? How can I tell?
The only way to tell would be for me to go here.
All right.
And go to the public view and see what's up.
Is it
chipmunk?
Is it chipmunk?
Oh yeah. I love technology.
What in the fuck, man?
I don't know, man. It's gonna be chipmunk lunch.
It's got to be. It's in the box, right? Do we need to unplug and unplug the box?
Maybe.
Is there something in the Scarlet filter?
I don't think so. Maybe the sample rate's too high. Should turn that down. Don't know if I can.
Looks like I just went
running
back.
shit.
Let me ask you this: what? And you say this is screwed up too? The Adobe part of it?
Yeah, but I can fix that. What I can't fix is the live thing.
Man.
Well, let's pull the audience. Do you want a chipmunk lunch or do you want no lunch?
How about what if we we should definitely do the lunch and release as a podcast. That's job one. Let's try recycling. Let's actually turn the thing off to see if like we can get like the power off of it, cuz
like the audio,
the Scarlet, yeah, the audio interface.
Okay, this is gonna break everything.
Oh yeah, I think we
have
should
to...
shut the stream down and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. We'll
Okay.
try again. Sorry.
And I say we're live again, and then I record here.
We're live.
I gotta see if this is actually recording at the right rate. Okay, sounds good on our recording. Let's see what it sounds like on YouTube.
So what it looks like on the tubes, man. What's it look like on the tubes? Also, please God.
Aha! Aha! We're not chipmunked.
Please God, fix my complexion.
No, I like it. I think it gives you a regal glow.
I'm gonna white out my whole face.
Okay, we're back, and we got it all fixed.
Of mayonnaise.
And it's gonna be a fucking nightmare trying
Amazing
to fix
mayonnaise,
this
man.
shit.
Just disappears from the universe.
All right, mayonnaise man, take over the show while I fix your
I
exposure.
just did. Ah, even more so. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
There we go.
gain.
I don't think I
down.
can just appear in a blaze of maize anymore. Okay. So yeah, I don't even know how to begin this stuff all over. We were talking about we're moving into Hogwarts Castle next week. We're getting our new studio. It's like our intention was to get things nice and spiffy before Game of Thrones season. So now we're gonna get like a bare bones studio set up and try with some green screen or some like simple framing of like bookshelves and stuff we had from the old studio. See if we can throw together a visually pleasing studio as quick as we can, and it'll be better than being in Jim's basement, and we can just build and grow and improve from there. So there might be some more stuff to talk about because there's a couple of modifications we might make to the suite at some point after moving in, and I've got some floor plans to look at. You know what would be a real fun Twitch stream, dude? If we're going to do like a Photoshop session where we like move furniture around and kind of plan the new studio, we should just do all that live on Twitch.
That'd be cool.
So you might want to look at some surprise ninja Twitch interior decorating stream.
Yeah, we're gonna have Ninja on the stream.
We're gonna have Ninja on the stream.
He's gonna decorate our studio for us and dye my hair.
It's gonna be llamas everywhere, dominated by llamas.
Yeah.
But that's very exciting, but also very scary because this stuff is kind of happening in a lot of respects the worst possible time.
And really, if we don't have Ninja on the stream, I think you should probably take it up with him because certainly he'll be the one to cancel. We won't cancel.
Oh yeah, why would we cancel on the darling of Twitch? Is he still the darling?
I don't know.
I feel like he started to normalize the last time I tried to dip in on one of his streams.
Normalize at like 500,000 subscribers.
No, like 50, 60. Still a shit ton. I mean, that's still an obscene amount of money to make each month. But
I hope he adjusted his lifestyle accordingly.
He seems like if all the streamers you're going to hear about in 10 years that are going to hit, like, you think NBA players are bad? You think football players? You think baseball players? Wait until you see the gleeful stories on Wired and Times when these fucking Twitch millionaires go bankrupt. Who is the Suicide Forest guy?
I don't know
mean,
his name.
we're going to collectively, from all classes of society, carve these people up like Thanksgiving roast and feast on their carcasses of entitlement and failure when it happens. So
yeah, and it's going to happen a lot faster than a lot of other things have happened. Like, you're not going to have to wait 2 decades to get a VH1 special on Where Are They Now.
I think they're
it's
making
going to be
it
like
right
2
now.
years from now.
Yeah. So what were we? Oh, so that's kind of like some news in the bald move corner. I had a whole bunch of things I was going to set up the minorly bitch because Amazon's really put me through the ringer. Like, they really fucking have put me through the ringer on this second volume of my ebook. Like, they're like fucking with me in the way that Amazon sometimes does. I shit you not. So like, okay, they fucked me on both versions, the print book and the ebook. The print book, there's an automatic thing where you like submit your manuscript and it kind of analyzes and makes sure that like everything's within the print margins and all this kind of stuff, right? And your cover is going to have the proper bleed, and when they do all that stuff, it's going to, that's all quality control. So it kicked back that there was like a 3mm error on such and such pages, and I sent it back to our guy that does the copy editing or the typesetting, and he fixes it. And then their manual process kicked back that it was 3 millimeters off in the other direction on the same pages.
Oh, Jesus.
That delayed that for like 3 or 4 days. And then the ebook, they actually canceled it because it was infringing on someone's copyright because it was too similar to another title, The Gods of Thrones Volume 1. At first I thought they were like, are they going after me for like it being a Martin? Like a George Martin, but like
it's your own damn book.
No, and I'm like, and I'm like, oh, this is hell. This is hell. This is hell. Like because I've been through this process with PayPal. I've been through this process with Amazon on their merchant account. Like once you get into like one of these like, you tell a robot that everything I say is a lie, and their brains are like it's going to be hell on earth. And so I sat down like the most. How do you tell someone that's gotten something so wrong that they're wrong without being offensive? And if you really say, actually, this is a unique title and we conform to this thing. And also we are the published author of both fucking works. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And I thought like, oh, they're going to make me do something like they're going to exact some pound of flesh. Like they're going to make me change. Like they're going to make me use the word unauthorized guide in the title, which I don't really care. But like, they already proved, it's like I was already gearing up to like, you guys already proved Volume 1, this is Volume 2, what the fuck? And then like literally last night, it just came through like no comment at all, no back and forth, just it's been approved for publishing.
Normally it goes the other way, no comment at all, no back and forth.
It's just
been
like, this is we are no explanation at all, this is our final ruling, go fuck yourself, there's no appeal, it doesn't matter if we have made factual errors in our findings, and there's no place you can appeal this because it's a... And I'm like, so I was like, I do even really want to bitch about it? It's almost like I just survived getting mauled by a bear, and like, do I want to tell the story or just whistle past that graveyard?
I mean, if the bear's still out there, tell people they watch for the bear.
I'm telling you, man. And the thing is, if you start searching Amazon seller horror stories or PayPal account horror stories,
oh yeah,
if you have a significant amount of your life income involved with any of these third-party agencies and something goes wrong, boy, it can be a real nightmare. It can, that's one of the reasons we tried to kind of set things and like not diversify, but like, try to get as independent as possible but even still, like if Stripe just decided to think that our credit account is linked to a terrorist organization, 66% of our income would be shut off overnight, and that would be wonderful. So let's try not to get on a terrorists list, Jim.
No, that's my operating philosophy for life. Don't get on any lists.
If nothing else, let's make it like a 2020 goal. All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, not really. I mean, I don't even know how much people want to hear about my Italy trip, but last week I was too sick to deliver any of it except for the bidet stuff.
I think people would like to hear about your Italy trip. Do you want to talk about it?
I don't really know what to say. Like, I went to 3 cities.
Italy's boring as fuck, y'all.
I mean, my trip to Italy is boring. Who cares? Who cares what I did on my trip to Italy? I don't know. I'm not an influencer. I took pictures, but you're not going to see any of them because I'm not vain, and I know that people don't give a shit.
They do. You should have posted a shot or two to Instagram, you bastard. What are you not? You're not even branding.
I sent Cecily some photos of the bidets that she
got them out.
Post to Instagram. Okay, I'm not on Instagram, so I wouldn't know if they came out or not.
You don't flex on anyone on the gram?
I don't even know what that means. I assume it means like I put I take a picture of my biceps and put it online.
Yeah, but it's got to be animated. It's got to. You actually have to be. You can't.
Is there a filter for that, or do I have to actually animate it myself?
Yeah. That's why Instagram.
Fuck that. Too much work.
That's why Instagram is where the real content is, because you can't fake that ass. You either got it or you don't.
Fake flex, yeah.
You either got the bicep or you don't.
That's true.
So if stay the hell out of the gram if you don't got the flex.
So all right. Well, I went to 3 cities. I went to Florence. I went to Rome. I went to Bologna. Florence, the weather was not amazing. So I think my girlfriend was a little bit less than thrilled with our time in Florence.
Was it cold? Was it rainy?
It was both, and very windy.
Oh.
Yeah, it was wet, cold, rainy, windy, there were dead birds falling from the skies.
When it's like that, were
Locusts.
people still bustling, or do people kind of stay? I'm trying to get the idea of like
No, it's still
is it more like a Seattle kind of thing where people are like, yeah, fuck it, or is it more of like
for sure.
Okay,
Everybody's got umbrellas or ponchos if you're
like that shit in Southern
really-
California. Just people like what the
It's
fuck?
not going to shut you down.
Yeah.
No. But I don't know. It's always a risk when you go during this time of year because it could be like upper 60s and not overcast, and you could have a great weather like we did in Rome and Bologna, or it could be like it was in Florence where it's rainy and windy and shitty. And
How many miles apart are those cities, would you say?
a few hundred.
So it kind of like is unless you got like regionally bad weather, it gives you a little bit of
Yeah.
you can kind of get away.
For sure. And when we got to Rome, it was beautiful. It was like low 70s, sunny the entire time. Just couldn't ask for better weather. Rome is an interesting city because it's like, as you're walking down the street, ancient ruins to your left, ancient ruins to your right, and it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
And the way that they blend the ruins in with the city is interesting. And there's also a little bit of nature still in the city, even though it's a bigger city than Florence and a more populous and more metropolitan city.
What do you mean
I'd
by
say.
nature? Like, did they just have trees on the sides of the streets, or
Yeah,
do they actually
yeah.
have like preserves?
They have big parks in Rome that you can go to. But yeah, as you're walking down the street, there will be trees and stuff. Florence is stone top to bottom. You have to get out of the city to actually see any nature
Really,
whatsoever.
they fully encased the nature.
Yeah. So I think she was also put off by that. I don't really care that much. I actually think Florence is beautiful because it's mostly stone.
That's so fucking on brand for you. I love it.
Yeah. But she really likes the nature. So when we got to Rome, she was super happy with the weather and the nature. And I got to say, a lot of the best food I had was in Rome as well. I got to try a couple of cacio e pepes, which is just Roman mac and cheese essentially, but it's like a very traditional dish and it's made with like 2 ingredients, cheese and pepper, literally. And then got to eat a lot of good pizza there and drink a lot of good wine. God damn, the wine is cheap there.
Oh, I bet.
Like you can get a half liter of wine, which is 2/3 of a bottle of wine, for in some places like €5, in other places like $7.
Isn't that kind of expensive though? €5?
No, it's $1.2 for every euro. So that's an extra. If it's €5, it's $6
Okay.
for half a liter of wine. Are you kidding me?
For half a but like I can buy like Robert Mondavi $4 bottle.
Well, yeah, you could do that.
So you're saying that
It's actually good wine.
all right. Fair enough.
Yeah, all the wine
You're a $4
you're gonna
Chuck
drink there.
hater. Is that what you're saying, Charles?
I'll say it's not amazing wine.
That's not
The
amazing. So
wine
you're
you
saying
get
the
on an
€6,
average-
the €5 wine is amazing wine for the price.
It's very
Okay.
good, yes.
Okay.
For the price.
All right.
And think of this, it's at a fucking restaurant. Tell me you're going and getting
Well,
your $4
okay.
Chuck sitting at a table
That's
in a
true.
beautiful veranda
You
in the
can't-
middle of Rome.
No, you pay $20 for that $4
Yeah.
bottle of Robert Mondavi.
Yeah, I mean, we went to the movie theater last night. We were looking, they have a carafe, which is 1 liter for $33. I'm like, you could get that same thing for like $15 to $18 in Italy. And it'll be better wine, most likely, and you'll be sitting in a better environment drinking it. I don't know. Yeah, the wine is super cheap there. The water is also super fucking cheap, and I think it's because it's almost a necessity
water
there.
bottles.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
you can get a 1.5 liter bottle, which is like this tall, this big around, for 30 cents, 30 euro cents, which is like, I don't know, 40 cents American or something.
Huh.
Whereas here, you're getting a half liter bottle for like $1.29, right?
Are there any perverse incentives? Is there like tons of plastic bottle trash, or
not like in the streets or
is there
anything, no.
culture like are they trying to like push towards reusable bottles and stuff over there as much as we are?
It doesn't
or-
seem like it. No, they're
'Cause,
very
like, I
much
s-
in the plastic bottles.
feel like I don't know how I feel about super cheap plastic water bottles, but
yeah,
whatever.
they're also typically much bigger. Like you can buy smaller water bottles, but most
Wobble
people
bobbles.
don't. Water bobbles. So yeah, I'm constantly blown away by like the price of stuff over there. Like we got a couple of nights for dinner, we didn't want to go to a restaurant or anything, so we just got like some meats and cheeses and olives and shit and made our own boards out of it. And you can get like prosciutto that would cost you like $12 here for like 3 there, because they don't have to, pay all the export taxes or whatever, or import taxes.
Milked right out of the Roman cow, churned right in the Roman churn.
Yeah, sliced
Passed on to save
right
it to
off the
you.
Roman cow.
Now, did you go explore / tour any of the notable ruins in Rome?
Yeah,
which ones did you do?
basically all of them
Really?
that I wanted to. Yeah, we didn't go to the
Colosseum?
Vatican because the Vatican was like 40 minutes out of our way. So another trip for that probably.
Yeah,
But
'cause
yeah,
I've
we
heard
went to
that's
the,
like the fucking art and the architecture is. Well, I mean, you've seen
Yeah.
the Young Pope.
Oh,
We've
right,
We've
no.
all seen Godfather 3.
No, I'm sure
Uh,
it's amazing.
yeah.
But it was way out of the way compared to the other stuff. Which
Yeah.
We did the Colosseum one day. We did the Pantheon.
Did you do like a guided tour? Just like what did you just like? Did they just let you
the
crawl all
Colosseum?
over
No.
the place?
We tried to get the guided tour, but we were late because the lines there are super weird. And we didn't know what line to get in. And even when you get in a line, you have to wait. Like, even if you have like your tickets already, you have to wait quite a while to get in, like 20 minutes or so. So we missed our tour, but we still got in. And then we just wandered around the Colosseum by ourselves, which I think is actually probably better.
Yeah.
'Cause we've got to take our time. We spent like an hour and a half in there, whereas the tour was 45 minutes. So,
Yeah.
but we did that. We did the Pantheon. We did Trevi Fountain. We did the Spanish Steps. We did what are the ruins over by the Colosseum? I'm having trouble remembering the name of them.
The circus. Isn't that what Circus Maximus? The horse track isn't it the horse track over there somewhere?
Maybe I don't think we saw that.
Theater.
No, it's just like a big.
Scrotum.
Yes, that was it.
That's where
Actually, I
Caesar
saw
got
a
stabbed to
scrotum.
death, right?
I saw a scrotum in
You
the
did?
Colosseum. Yeah,
You did?
a horse scrotum,
Nice.
a lovingly chiseled horse scrotum.
Nice.
Full on horse ass, which I have pictures of.
Of course you do.
Of course I
See,
do.
that would have been good on Instagram.
I think I'd get banned from Instagram for posting horse scrotum.
Lewd horse.
Yeah, and the one thing that we did in Florence that I had really wanted to do on my last trip that I didn't get to is go to the top of the Duomo, which is one of the cathedrals, the main cathedral there. And I was thinking, oh man, this is going to be a fucking nightmare because it's like 460 something steps.
And then you get to jump into a wagon full of hay.
You do, yeah. But only if you are in a virtual reality
They
simulation.
hand you a map of the city, and then you
Right.
backflip into a cart full of hay.
There's just too many pickups. So I didn't want to do that. I'd have to.
Right,
I'd
right.
spend all my time just going and getting
Sure.
stuff. But that was cool. And I was worried that it was going to be too many steps and too exhausting. And I kept thinking, I'm not the most out of shape person who's ever done this. There's
stop
no
acting like
way.
You're a 60-year-old man. Come
Right.
on.
And then I got in there and it was like, oh, well, now I see we take like 5 steps and then you have to wait. And you take another 5 steps and you have to wait because there's so many people in there who are, at different levels of fitness. And like we blew past some people and some people blew past us. And like, it's crazy because the stairs, there are like 5 different types of stairs. So you're sort of going up like this
Harry
square
Potter shit is this?
Yeah, it's weird. You're going up like a square set of spiral stairs. And then you get
square
to
set of spiral stairs. All right.
yeah, so they're squared off, but they're in a spiral pattern.
Okay.
And then you get to like the actual spiral staircase,
Uh-huh.
which takes you up like half of the way, and then you get out kind of to this midpoint in like right under the dome, where you're kind of over the top of the altar and the pews and everything there. And you can look out, and it's really cool, and you can look up at the top of the dome with the painting on it. That's awesome. But then you get to the actual dome stairs, which are like very narrow, like extremely narrow, because they're made for like stonemasons to just get up there and do repairs and shit on the thing. They're not made for tourists.
Yeah.
So it was crazy too, because there were people like going to most of the way to the top, and I think they were actually going all the way to the top, and they were coming back down because they only have one entrance and exit, like a combination entrance and exit to that thing.
Sure.
So you're kind of like squeezed up against the side of the
people are trying to
stairs, and
squeeze
people are
against you.
squeezing, past you.
Yeah.
It's they have a warning on their website, like, don't do this if you're very claustrophobic,
Right.
because the stairs are narrow. And what I didn't know, you're gonna have people passing by the other direction in this narrow staircase, and it just the stairs get progressively like smaller and shittier and ricketier.
What are you working your way up to see at the top? What's the top?
The view of the city.
Oh,
Is what you're seeing, because
Okay,
you're on the
okay.
top of the dome. It's basically the highest thing in Florence.
Okay, I gotcha.
So you get a full panorama, and it goes all the way around.
Uh-huh.
So you can get a full panorama of
I thought you were
the
trying to
entire
get like to
city.
the top and look down at the church or something, but you're actually
No.
okay. All right.
You're looking out on the city.
Okay. Yeah.
That was super cool, and I'm glad I did it, even though at first I was a little nervous that I wouldn't be able to do it. It turns out it was super
Did you get
easy.
any pictures up there?
I got a ton, yeah.
Oh, nice.
None of which you will see.
That damn
Hear
shame.
that, audience.
I would have liked to have seen that on Instagram.
You can see it, but not the people on Instagram. And then we went to Bologna, which I expected to be sort of shitty
Nah, you're
because
full
it's
of
just
it.
like a college town.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out Bologna is kind of known for two things. It's known for its food. You've heard perhaps of bolognese.
I've heard of bologna.
Well, they're not known for
Isn't
bologna.
that just meat sauce?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So they kind of invented that the hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. And that's kind of what they're known for there as far as cuisine goes.
All right.
So I got some of that. And then also their city is known for having the longest portico in the world, which is something like 4 miles long.
What?
Yeah. No, it's insane.
Wait, now, are you talking about like some kind of steel gate that closes or what?
No,
that's
no.
a portcullis. What? Okay,
no,
what
a
the
portico is basically a covered walkway.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's
that's
like
still-
it's insane. Yeah, I was thinking there's no way this is actually going to be an unbroken
Right.
portico. Or no, it's 4 kilometers, so I think it's like 2 miles.
Okay.
Or something,
Still a
like
lot.
2.2 miles. And it goes. So like most of it is built into buildings. So like you'll have the ground floor that goes up 1 story, and then it kind of overhangs, and they build a portico out of that. But then once you get out of the city proper, then it becomes just like we built this covered walkway all the way up this fucking mountain, and it spirals. And that was the walk that actually almost killed me, because it's 2 miles up a no joke mountain to the top where there is some kind of cathedral up there.
You didn't make it? I'm
Incredibly
guessing?
beautiful. No, we made it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Some
it just
kind-
took us like 2 to 3 hours to
Wow.
do that entire walk.
Well, now, why did they build the covered walkway? What is the logic to? Was it just flex? Was it just
I
like
think
look what
so,
we,
yeah.
we don't want our priests to have to get their feet muddy on the way to their cathedral.
I guess so.
Wow.
Or it was like a fame thing, like we want to be known for something.
Yeah. Why not?
But it is really impressive, and the walk up there is really nice. There's just a lot of good scenery when you're going up the mountain, and then when you get to the top, it's even better. So that was amazing.
Sounds real pretty.
Yeah. That was the last day I was there, is the day we did that. And then I immediately got sick and had a terrible venture home because we made the mistake of booking a flight that had 2 connections, one from Bologna, which is like a small regional airport, up to Munich, and then Munich to Chicago, and Chicago to Cincinnati. And when we got to Chicago, they did not book. I don't know if this is a 737 MAX thing or what, but they did not book enough time between flights for us to hit that connection, because Chicago is a fuckstorm of bullshit. A fuckstorm of bullshit when it
Wow.
comes to their transportation
Bold
system.
birds.
We got in there and we had to go through customs. And for some reason in the U.S., if you have a U.S. passport, you don't just blow through customs. What the fuck are we doing here? This is 2019, god damn it. And I can't just walk up, flash my U.S. passport, and walk right in.
What part
What's
of
going on?
2019 would make you
It's
think
2019.
That's what you would do?
We have the technology. Scan my face. You've already scanned me 8 times in Munich.
Sure.
I know you've got my body profile on
They need
file.
your biometric asshole data, Jim. That's what they
They've
want.
got it. They've
Anyone
got
can
it.
Fake your face.
Yeah.
Who's seen your asshole?
They have. Trust me, they have.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's such a good biometric indicator. It's like one of the most private pieces of data you own.
Well, scan it as I walk by. That's what I want.
Well, you need to-
let me right into the country. I'm a
You
citizen.
need
God damn
to
it.
put in your wearable plug scanner, and you can do that. Like if you just get the TSA pre-clear brown, this all goes away. I don't understand what the problem is.
So you have to go through customs, and then you have to get in line for a fucking shuttle
broadcast
bus.
your rectal data within 32 meters of you at all time, and it's unencrypted. But that's really the only.
Well,
it's fine.
you wear like a RFID blocking diaper.
You wear aluminum foil underwear,
Right?
Until you get to the pre-check.
And there's a panel on it where you can just open it up. Very convenient.
Right? Yeah. It's a hatch. More of a hatch.
So then you got to wait on a fucking shuttle bus to take you from Terminal 5 to Terminal 2, which is a ride not on a private airport road. It's a ride through the fucking city of Chicago.
Okay.
Like, I'm on the street.
Are you sure you didn't transfer from like Midway to O'Hare or something? They didn't tell you,
Definitely
like...
not. I don't know if their system is just in chaos because they're doing construction, which is one of the things they said, but it seemed to me like the system was just bad all around, and they're going to try and install some better transportation system. But it was shitty because then once you get off that shuttle, you have to go through security to get back into the airport because you had to leave the airport to actually get to your terminal.
All right.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
It seemed like the wisdom you receive, because I saw you
on a
get
connection flight,
is to always end, like on an international flight, try to end your final destination and your hometown.
Yeah,
because it's hell. You always have to go through like double customs.
Yeah,
or,
I think the person, was it Hatorian?
I think so.
I think it might have been Hatorian, said, come into the country on your in your final destination.
Yeah.
Because you will have that hassle. You have to leave the airport.
And it's like worth it to drive like maybe to Chicago or to Indianapolis to make that happen.
Yeah. But then you got to park, and I did that. The bus takes like 6 hours or something. I don't know. It's a hassle either way. But it made us miss our connection, so we had to stay overnight in a fucking hotel, and then we drove back because we didn't want to fuck with the 6 a.m. flight after being up until 2 in the morning. Like, what, we're going to go to a hotel and sleep for 2 hours and then get up and pack up all our shit again and then leave? No. So we drove.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that last.
Which took like 4.5 hours. It's an easy drive.
Right.
From Chicago.
Yep. Straight shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a nightmare. Nightmare getting home, but the trip was amazing.
Any other trip-related raves or rants that you'd like to do?
Nope.
Do you think it's appropriate to get into the actual Q&A based session?
Probably.
Now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've got one up. Murder Bear from Cold Springs, Kentucky says, as you mentioned last week, we had an epic discussion when you guys were on vacation about one of the most important topics of all mankind, condiments. There's a lot of talk about the bastard sauces the House of Heinz has been making lately. The lunatics are up again. They've unveiled a flavor they called Cranch, which is ketchup and ranch swirled together in one bottle.
Sounds terrible.
My question, favorite condiment and favorite combination. And the combination cannot be something you get straight from a bottle traditionally.
Easy.
Okay.
Mayonnaise is my favorite.
Okay.
My favorite combination is horseradish and mayonnaise.
That's pretty good.
Especially on a roast beef sandwich.
I guess I like barbecue sauce, but my favorite combination would probably be ranch and sriracha. Like, I love dipping like breadsticks in that, or like my pizza crust and stuff in that.
So you're a prime candidate for Cranch.
Well, ketchup, it sounds gross. That sounds like sweetening. The sriracha makes it spicy. So it's like spicy ranch. And it's great for like dipping vegetables.
Karancha?
Karancha now.
Karancha.
Now we're talking creamy spicy. I could, creamy tomatoey spicy. I could maybe get down with that.
You hear that, Heinz? Call me.
Try it, Heinz.
Karancha.
Your turn, sir.
Nick Kim says, what's your favorite medical show? Mine has always been classic ER.
Yeah.
House.
Hands down.
Easily House.
I was ER, like, I always try to, people always ask me, like, where did I get my start in, like, watching quote unquote good television? And it's like, seems like every time I go back, it's like, I don't know, like, where does it start? Is it Star Trek The Next Generation? Was it, certainly wasn't Airwolf, wasn't Earth Final Conflict, wasn't Earth 2, but like ER, the first 3 seasons of ER I thought were perfectly defensible, big budget drama. Before the golden, pre-golden age, precursors to the golden age. Yeah, I really liked ER. Launched a lot of careers. Dork of the Ninjas from Virginia wants to know, hey guys, was curious, were you able to get your Avengers in-game tickets? I know Jim doesn't go crazy for these things typically, but what's your excitement level for it? And also, what are your most anticipated movies of the year? P.S. Please go see Us. It is amazing. All right, first things first. The Avengers Endgame was a hot ticket. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I was unable to secure tickets for opening night, the Thursday night preview night. I'm going to roll in at 9 o'clock in the morning and watch a 3-hour fucking comic book movie. Because as Jim has observed, it's 2019 and that's what we do.
Come on, it's 2019. You can't get tickets to a movie? What the hell?
Yeah. And like the websites were like unable to, like, I think this is like an order of magnitude larger than anything that they've seen before. Like this thing might make $4 billion.
Yeah.
Like it might like set a crazy ass Titanic style record that's going to take a decade to overcome. It's I just don't know. I can't even imagine. So yeah, you were going to go see like an 11:30 showing, but then you found like a close what you're doing now, like,
so at the theater you go to, there was an 11 o'clock 3D showing. It was the only one left on sale, and I would have had to sit next to one of the wheelchair spots, which I felt super bad about potentially like taking somebody's companion spot.
Someone wheels up and says you just have to be forced to move.
I would absolutely move because the front 2 rows were mostly vacant. But can you imagine sitting for 3 fucking hours staring up at a screen in a 3D film? That sounds like the worst fucking thing I can imagine.
The front row of a 3D film is a real asshole seat. Yeah, for sure.
So luckily, I checked a couple of times that day, and the local theater here, the Brew and View style thing that I go to, opened their ticket sales, and I got one for a 6 p.m. showing on opening night. So I'm going to see it as early as anybody is going to.
Drink a glass of beer while you're watching.
I think Steven Spielberg might be in that screening of it. So early.
The guy who plays Loki.
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddlestick. He's gonna
be in that screening.
He's gonna cut the ribbon to the theater as soon as you get there. Your most anticipated movie
of the year?
Yeah.
I
have a hard time. I whiff on these hard.
Anticipated movie. Movie is tough because I don't keep track of movies as closely as television.
Like that Lucy in the Sky that we talked about last night. God, that looks amazing. That looks like it might be this year's Annihilation. So I'm probably excited about that. I'm definitely excited for Avengers Endgame. I mean, I'm just like just as a person who observes these things. It's like this, because it's got an interesting narrative. Because I feel like they kind of fumbled the ball with Captain Marvel because the Chief. Because the way I see it is Captain Marvel has to be integral to whipping Thanos, right? Or else why would they hurry up and get that movie in there and then tease it? So they had that movie to kind of like, and so your next thought should be concerned for like, well, if she's just going to be this Deus Ex Machina instant win because she's much more powerful than Thanos, will that feel satisfying? So like that first Captain Marvel movie had to do a lot of heavy lifting and make her character about more than that, and maybe even limit, like, you might not even see what she's ultimately capable of. And boy, they didn't seem like they really nailed that kind of nuance. And now, not even a month later, or just a month later, we're rolling in Endgame, and we're going to be probably permanently retiring 2, maybe 3 of the big names of this. So this is like I had breakfast with Anthony this morning because we had to hand off a bunch of physical books. So I met him halfway between his university and our studio here. And I said, like, I think this is going to be interesting. Like, if this is a big hit and everybody loves it, then well, fine and good. But if this is like a disappointment or a lot of people are burnt on this, I wonder if we're going to look back and see this as like the high watermark. Because I just think that like I feel like that people are looking for an excuse to start dismissing this stuff. There's so many of them. There's so many people. Like it's the stuff we talked about last week, like Disney, like eating up everything. It's I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not obviously I'm not super hyped for Endgame. I think it'll probably be good, but you know.
What about Us? I saw Us last weekend, and
I would like to see it. I was out of the country when it. premiered.
Wish I'd known that Pet Sematary would be underwhelming because I will say that I think Us has some problems of similar scale to Pet Sematary, but it's an infinitely more interesting film to talk about.
Yeah.
Like Pet Sematary is a pretty staid horror concept, the Indian burial
It's a remake
ground.
of a 30-year-old movie now.
Yeah, but
so,
even
sure.
conceptually, it's
Yeah.
pretty hoary, and it's tales, So if I'd have known that this would have kind of been like meh, I would have probably advocated seeing either Shazam or seeing Us. But I don't know. If Jim can see Us in a time frame that makes it socially relevant, then we'll probably have.
Will it be
coverage.
relevant after next week? Because next week is a complete non-starter for me.
I have no idea. I don't know. Because I also think that I saw Red Letter Media's take, and I'm like, that's almost exactly the take I would make. Maybe minus a little bit of their dude bro over the top commentary, but the structural things that I started whistling now. The structural issues with the film I thought they had a sound analysis of. Anyway, you should probably do something.
Okay.
On Twitter.
Patrick Murray asks, what is a product that only an a-hole would buy? Example, what would you see someone who is an a-hole purchase and you'd think, yeah, that sounds right?
I mean, truck nuts. That's like the canonical.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Yeah. Like even if it's deeply ironic, the fact it says something about you that you don't give a shit about other people's misconceptions of you for the sake of irony. So you probably still, even ironically sporting them, are wrapped back around to being an asshole.
And maybe even the truck that you put them on.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't work on a farm or move heavy equipment on a daily basis, what are you doing with a fucking dually?
Yeah.
What are you doing with a massive fucking truck
Yeah.
that can roll coal on anybody who's behind you on fucking 4th Avenue? Like, what do you need that for?
To pull their $75,000 RV.
If you're a fucking soccer mom with one child and you drive a fucking Expedition, also go fuck yourself. And we probably have some of those listening right now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But what are you doing? A Prius would do you just fine.
No, it's funny because when I drop Jack off from school, I'm always comparing my little tiny vibe to just the enormous assault vehicles that people are aware and dropping off a single child.
Yeah.
And then
If you're the fucking Duggars, I get it. Like you need a
Sure.
school bus, a personal school bus to take your kids to school, although they're not going to school. So
But I think a lot of it is a lot of people have these big trucks because my sister has a big giant truck because she has horses and 2 or 3
Sure.
times a year she has to haul them.
yes, you got to
But-
haul a trailer. That's
But
acceptable.
yes, it's acceptable, it's legal, it's not stupendous, but it's more to the point. I would ask my sister, did you need this many horses? Do you need you can always I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know where to stop criticizing people and the choices they make. So I always try to think of oh, this person probably has an RV or something they're pulling or whatever. And if you want to start, it's annoying because I do try to be a little bit aware of the choices that I'm making that way. And so when I'm shopping for I'm dreaming of what's the next. I'm limited at the choices I can make with a trailer, sailorable boat because I'm not going to buy a $50,000 truck to pull a fucking 2-ton boat.
Yeah.
3 times a year. I can't.
You could rent one.
Yeah, no shit. I can just
Renting is good.
Yeah, I just don't understand I don't understand the financial calculus and the I just don't understand what goes into decision making process to justify that. But I don't know. Maybe if I had a ton of money, it'd start to make sense to me. Okay. Wait, is
What?
my turn?
No. Yeah, yours.
Okay. Cavillain, let's see. I know you hate listing stuff on a whim, but top fave Pixar films in no order. Go.
Toy Story. Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3. Toy Story 4. Toy
Wait, you haven't
Story
seen
5.
Toy Story 4. It's not even out yet, you bastard. It might be the one that fucks them all.
But you don't. No. You can just play. You can play this out and say my top 5 Pixar movies are Toy Story movies.
And I lose track of what's actual
'Cause they-
Pixar
you know
and
they'll
what's
make
Disney.
5.
They changed at some point, didn't they? Because
Well, Disney owns Pixar, right? So
But-
what do you mean?
Well, like, is Up a Pixar film or is it a Disney film? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of, so I guess if I don't worry about making that distinction, it would go something like, yeah, probably Toy Story 2, Incredibles, it's Up, I know, I mean, it's easier to name the bad ones, like Cars 2.
Yeah.
And did they make a Cars 3? I think they did, but I'm like, nah, fuck you with the Cars 2.
Yeah.
The second, the follow up to the Finding Nemo's, Finding Dory's kind of it's much easier to list the ones that were everything else is like exceptional to like legit all time classic. So, thoughts on the recent news on the Scorsese DiCaprio Hulu series, The Devil in the White City? Not much to grab here. Just wonder if you guys know the source material. No, I don't. I've never heard of this. I am excited about. I have heard a little bit about this. It is interesting to see Leonardo DiCaprio come to the small screen. Like, is that the biggest star?
Is he? Well, did I hear that this was not? This is not a series, or maybe it's like a very limited series or something.
Or even if it's just a Hulu original movie, that's still pretty notable, isn't it? I mean, I guess not. Like, I mean, is it going to blow your mind if Harrison Ford appears in a Netflix movie?
Right.
I think
especially when the lines are blurring there, like with Roma and stuff, where maybe it releases in theaters. Maybe this is their Oscar bid, which I've heard.
Let me ask you this: what do you think of Steven Spielberg's proposal to ban Netflix and other things from winning Oscars?
Man,
is that the most
Spielberg?
You're
bullshit too old for your own good. You're too old for your own good, Spielberg.
That's literally an old man screaming, "Get out of my cinema!"
Yeah.
Because the light photons are hitting his retina in a slightly different way. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe Steven fucking Spielberg, the innovator of innovators, the one who's pushed technology more than any other person except for maybe George Lucas, is saying nah to new ways to disseminate film. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What's going on, Jim?
I don't know. It's weird. I don't agree with that view. I think Netflix should be up for. And here's the weird duality in their thinking. They say, oh well, these movies, unless it's released in a theater, it shouldn't be up for potential Oscar wins. And then in the same breath, they'll say, well, theaters are clearly the superior way to view a film. And viewing them at home doesn't give you the same experience. So wouldn't you say that if a movie is not in a theater, that it's at a natural disadvantage and therefore wouldn't win any Oscars anyway?
Right.
So what are you fucking worried about if your theater experience is so superior? Only movies released in wide release on theater screens should even come close to winning that Oscar anyway.
Right.
So, like, come on.
Also, Steven Spielberg watches 90% of his movies at home.
Right.
So fuck you.
But it is probably in a big ass.
It's probably a nice big ass theater, but like
with Atmos, and
it's just so out of touch to tell like the Cineplex that an average citizen can go to, saying that that's like a massive upgrade over your home setup. Like they're starting to compete now, like with the nice recliners and the more food options and like this 4D shit that we're going to talk about here in a minute. I think is kind of interesting, but like, I thought that was a bunch of bullshit. Also, Cal Villain says mea culpa. He misunderstood Leo's only a producer. So
okay.
I have to wait for Harrison Ford now. Jim, your turn.
And you can't wait very long because he's getting old. Nathan Stinson says, have you seen the newly released trailer for Joker yet? And if so, what do you think?
I did see it. It's pretty fucking wild. Like, it's a really radical reimagining of the Joker myth.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone, and I don't want to like disparage Joaquin Phoenix for his like physical appearance because I know he had a tragic accident and like.
Are you going to come after him for the hair lip? What's?
No. For like his shoulders all fucked up. Like it gives that character like a certain.
I didn't know that he had gotten a disability along the way.
Oh yeah, if you see his shoulder, he's like all kind of hunched to one side because he fucking ruined his entire side, and they had to reconstruct it all. And
in what?
In a crash, either car or motorcycle.
Holy
crash.
Shit! No, I didn't hear about any of this. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's gotten seriously fucked up in the past.
Come to think of it, I haven't seen him around for a couple of years. I thought it was a blowout from that weird dark comedy experiment that he did with that documentary.
No, it was before that actually. With Ben Affleck's brother. Was that the one?
That was before the accident.
That was after the accident.
Well, he wasn't that fucked up in that movie.
They do like he was before The Master, certainly.
Okay.
You can see
All right.
him
Well,
there,
anyway,
like-
I don't want to derail your point.
Yeah, but my point is like that brings something extra to the character that, like, I think Joaquin Phoenix is like the perfect choice for the Joker.
Uh-huh.
You know, as much as when Heath Ledger did it, I thought, oh shit, Heath Ledger is nailing this. I think Joaquin Phoenix is nailing it in that trailer.
Do you think the thing is like they're playing is the Joker? It seemed like he's playing him a little simple.
More reserved than I'm used to seeing the Joker, certainly.
Huh. I thought that there was like some kind of
I don't know about simple.
like he's like a low intelligence type of character or some kind of developmental disability. Am I crazy to get that? I just watched it the one time, but I thought,
Yeah,
oh,
me
it's
too.
interesting to have kind of like of mice and men kind of Lenny style Joker. I don't want like that's it's because Joker's usually a deranged genius, right? Or like what if you have but no, or maybe it's maybe I misinterpreted it. I don't know, because I know also it's like they're leaning into the fact that the Joker's like mentally unwell.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he maybe had like at some point a support system that was kind of keeping him stable, but then that gets taken away and people are cruel to him. And
yeah.
that'd be interesting. No Batman. Do you think Batman shows up?
From what I hear, Batman was in that trailer. He's just a little boy,
Oh shit!
which might fuck with the timeline or something. I
don't-
honestly, I don't care. I don't care. Like,
I
give
don't know
me
if you
the
saw my
Joker
take on
origin
the
story.
forum.
I did, yeah. Like everybody is going crazy, and I get it. If you're a big comic book fan and you think,
Yeah.
oh, well, they can't possibly do justice to the Joker's origin, and they shouldn't even try. Like, and such a complex character. Like, I get it. That's you've invested in that character
Right.
in a very particular way that I have not. I don't care. I just want to see a good story told with the Joker.
Yeah, and I think that that's the most comic book thing you can do, because comic books are always about like, the mainline comics are always about like keeping a perpetual motion machine going. Like the Joker always gets away and Batman does, but like they get some weird shit in like some of the graphic novels or solo cycles or spin-offs or whatever. And like if you don't like this particular version of the Joker, wait 5 years, you'll get another one.
Yeah, it's true.
Like there and like
and we've already seen the Joker's origin story.
right.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson did it.
Sure.
Back in the day.
Right. There's a bunch of different canonical origins of the Joker, and they all kind of like merge together, and it just gives the, I don't know, the more kind of takes on a particular character. If we can have medieval Batman, which we've had,
Whoa.
we can certainly have a Joker origin story. And if you don't
How
like
did that
it,
happen? Was it like an Army of Darkness sort of portal thing to take him back to...
I don't know. There's like this Batman Legend series,
Or
I
did he
think,
just go
and-
to Chicago to medieval times and
No,
do
it
his
was like
Batman
it was
thing in
like
there?
like some kind of like the office of like I can't really explain it, because I was a Marvel guy, and it's more of like what I was gathering from online forums and like wizard articles and just seeing the covers at the comic book was like there was a bunch of different, like there's a pirate Batman, and there was a
Oh my
medieval
God.
Batman, and it's like always like the same kind of like wealthy scion that's parents are unjustly murdered, and
Why don't
and
we
he's
get-
inspired by Bat, and he uses the technology of the day to whip ass and fight a one-man vigilante war against injustice. So Batman talk, the fat man and out of shape 30-year-old man on Batman podcast you've been listening to.
You're implying that I'm fat and out of shape.
No, I'm fat. You're out of shape. You
You
yourself
said
implied
30,
that.
you said out of shape, fat out of shape 30-year-old man.
No, I said the fat man and out
Oh,
of shape
and-
30-year. Yes.
Okay. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong. I just was offended.
I wasn't
that
gonna
you
throw
would
fat
call
on
me
you,
out.
but you've been saying you've been out of shape and falling apart for like lunches now.
I changed up my Chipotle order
Whoa.
to that for that very reason.
Really? What'd you?
Because I realized I've been taking so much sodium that eventually my heart's just gonna explode into a geyser of blood. So I'm trying to reduce my sodium. I got it down from like 2,200 to 1,500 per burrito, which is
What did you
is
cut
right
out?
at the edge of like where I want to be.
Yeah, I don't have any milk because I don't consume a lot of salt. but-
Apparently, white rice is saltier than brown rice, so
No
I switched
kidding.
over to brown rice. And then their pico de gallo is very, very salty,
Salty
to the tune of
AF.
like 300 milligrams
Wow.
of sodium.
Wow.
Yeah, so I swapped that out with the medium salsa, which is the green, which is almost no salt.
Okay.
So, Chipotle hacks.
There you go. We'll reduce that sodium. Okay. What is your next? Is it my turn?
Yes.
All right, Texas Sandman. Last week I was helping the elderly coworker transfer some photos from his phone to his work computer. I sadly missed this one last week. In doing so, I saw a bunch of downloads from Pornhub that his web browser was open to. An adult
I was going to ask how many
website.
dick pics he had, but okay. Turns out you're going there.
I quickly got by that and got to the files he needed, but it gave me a nice chuckle knowing an oldster like him can get down with some internet fun like the rest of us. The question, have you ever had any funny experiences discovering people's extracurricular activities when you were in the IT profession? Everyone else uses incognito mode for this stuff too, right? My coworker did not.
Oh, sure. But no, I don't have any experience because I wasn't on other people's computers doing shit. It was mostly on my own.
I saw two funny things happen in my IT career. The first time, and this was like when I was like 22, I was like a assistant to some technical support guy, and we were trying to set up a person's laptop. This guy gave us a laptop at a presentation in front of 500 people, and we hooked, at the podium, we hooked it up and like verified the PowerPoint was ready. And he gets up there and he's like 5 minutes into clicking and his PowerPoint session dies. And there was a porn site running. Like apparently this guy was like cranking one off right before he went on stage to like bleed off stress or something. But literally right underneath his and that went out to 500 shocked people at a
That's
conference
amazing.
on the PCI DSS security standard. And the other one was a guy so I was the director of IT for this corporation. We were evaluating a new firewall technology because we were having to implement the PCI DSS. And this guy was like talking all this shit about like, this firewall is like got all these heuristic algorithms and they can detect any porn site known. And he's like, just give me a porn site. Let me, and I'll write it down. I said, whitehouse.com, because at the time that was like the canonical, like, you can go to whitehouse.com. It's a whole different experience from whitehouse.gov. He goes, whitehouse.com, full, and the whole board of directors of Gas America there, full on porn, nothing blocked. And the whole room just erupts in laughter. The woman that owned that company, the person that owned the company, CEO, was a female, and like half the executive staff is women, and we're all just rolling at how fucking stupid this guy looked.
Yeah, that's super embarrassing. Not because the porn came up, just because
Like that's the
your
equivalent of
whole
Houdini.
product is.
That's the equivalent of Houdini drowning before he gets out of his lock. Like, okay, that was a show, all right. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
BJ Whitcoff says, I hate Janice from Sopranos. Hate like takes me out of the show and hits my heart. What character is the most hateable to you?
Which
Not
show
bad
is
acting,
this?
but acted so well you bought it? What do you mean?
Okay, what is it? I feel like we
It's
lost the plot.
Joffrey. It's Joffrey. I mean,
Yes.
Joffrey 100% is the most well-acted character who I fucking hate.
Adora on Sharp Objects is right up there too.
She's up there, but man, Joffrey Baratheon is a piece of shit.
He really
And Jack Gleason is a great actor.
He really is. I feel like there's been a lot of really good hateable villains. But they had the one from last year, the one that's been kind of most recent that sticks in my mind, came up in conversation today, Adora on Sharp Objects. Just
Yeah, it's a good one.
Incat. Don't know if you guys are going to do Netflix's Highwaymen, but I thought it was pretty good. It's interesting to see the story where it does not glorify the killers, although the extrajudicial killing of Bonnie and Clyde could be seen as glorifying police violence. Well,
Oh, is that
that's
Kevin
the
Costner
Kevin Costner
and Zombieland guy?
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
I
I don't know.
Anyways,
I want to see it.
was
But
wondering your thoughts on telling these stories without romanticizing the criminals. I thought it was a fresh take. I mean, I think it's hard to tell a story from a criminal perspective without glorifying them. If you tell from law enforcement, then, it's like the difference between telling a story that, like Scarface versus The Untouchables, right?
yeah.
So I think that's the way you do it. Although it's like really tough because nowadays our laws are so fucked up that like I've just made the pledge. I'm just categorically not going to see a movie that's set about the war on drugs because it's stupid. It's like the dumbest form of cops and robbers that we just self-perpetuate, as far as I can tell, because it suits various interests of ours. It's just, I can't stomach it anymore. So like it's rough on that stuff. But there's you don't sympathize with the criminals. You sympathize with the people trying to stop the criminals. You sympathize. You emphasize the damage it does to the victims because that's the number one way you glorify violence is you don't deal with the aftermath of it. Anyway.
All right. BJ Wickoff says, "What shows from the past does technology ruin? Like Three's Company was about miscommunication and cell phone would destroy the premise, or understanding CSI ruins The Sopranos." Oh, does it? I've only seen The Sopranos once, and it was mostly background watched.
So what's a show that couldn't happen nowadays?
Yeah.
Like Gilligan's Isle.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like if their ship is fucked up bad enough
You
that
get
like its
transponders
transponder
and-
wouldn't work and their communications gear, they would be just lost at sea, I think.
Well, isn't that the premise? Like they're fucking
No, I mean like
lost?
lost, like dead, like their ship sinks and they die, not like it shipwrecks on it as they're able to make it to this desert island. I don't know. Maybe that's the
gotcha.
first one I could think of.
What if they're hit by lightning and all their gear goes out?
You know what? You name a show. I'm gonna sit in judgment.
The West Wing. No, I don't fucking know.
We don't have a functional democracy anymore. That would never work. You'd never have like a measured, like, fucking Socratic Arthurian presidency like that. We'll never have that again.
Yeah.
Next time it's going to be President Rock's and Rock Comancho the Third's opportunity. The X-Files,
I was thinking like the A-Team.
the A-Team. Why wouldn't the
Because they're a band of outlaws, essentially, fugitives. And I feel like they'd be caught almost immediately with like face recognition.
It's a lot
and-
harder to hide out in the LA underground if you're
Yeah.
a well-financed team of military mercenaries, sure.
Yeah. I think the technology would find them almost instantly.
Right. They just joined Blackwater though, wouldn't they? Like there's like an open market for mercenaries
Okay.
now. Just
Yeah, maybe they just get co-opted.
don't go
back into the
underground.
system.
Just work it. Just get a fucking paycheck, man.
Yeah.
Become a taxpayer. Okay. Michelle says, Jim, it was great to see you in the Twitch stream last night. Is there any chance you two will go back to doing occasional Twitch gaming streams? No, we
It was a
renegotiated our contract, and I absolutely refuse to be seen with him on a Twitch stream unless it's the Monday prep that we do. That's the one thing I budged on the contract.
He wanted full nudity, and I wouldn't do it. So, no, that's the plan. Once we get back into a real office, we'd like to do Twitch streaming of both television and I think maybe some gaming stuff.
Yeah, just try to find ways to like try to get more into the Twitch and not just in the video game side, but just like just what can we use Twitch for that immediacy and the interactivity is kind of unique to that platform. So be on the lookout for that. Moving on.
Ted K. Hey, Aaron. Just wanted to say I really appreciate the streams you, Cecily, and Judge Todd have been doing. They've helped me through a really hard period in life.
Who's that?
Ted K.
Ted K. You're welcome. That would be the Ted K. that was like our senior correspondent from Harlan County during the Justified days, would it? Wasn't that guy Ted? I know it was Ted. I thought it was Ted K.
Maybe.
Anyway, glad you're enjoying them. We've really enjoyed making them. They're a lot of work, and but you know what? It's work, but it's also not because it's essentially playing video games and being goofy. It's a performance, but we're enjoying it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's fun. I'm thank you. How lovely it is for you to notice the effort that we're taking to make the content for you. I'm glad you got joy from it, and it makes me feel good to receive that, even though I deal with it quite awkwardly. Thank you, Ted. All right. What do you want? Did he need something else?
No. that was
Okay.
it.
Hope you feel better. DJ Caudle says, after fiasco at the Mueller report, we seem to be back to Trump's tax returns again. My concern is that we're going to create an atmosphere of Trump fat ague. And when he does,
What?
fatigue, I was just being funny. And
Oh.
then I realized that's actually so out there that people probably won't get it. And when he does unleash something truly horrific, the general public will be in a state of collective eye rolling anything that is said about Trump. I loved when this happened with Obama, all the talk about the Kenyan, the birth certificates, and gay Muslims, knowing all the time the general public did not give two shits about the games the High Lords play. I truly believe Obama's second term was won partially because of this phenomena. If we're not careful, we may be looking at 4 more years of Trump when it could have been avoided with just a little bit more self-control. Your thoughts?
You're not wrong.
I think that whenever a version of the Mueller report is released that a reasonable person can conclude wasn't fucked with by the White House, and I think that's what's going to happen within a week or two, I think the smart move is to accept its conclusions and then move the fuck on. Like, it's entirely possible that Donald Trump did not collude directly with the Russians. And it's possible that through some convoluted way of understanding the obstruction of justice, because he's just like, some of the defenses amount to kind of like, well, he just was too dumb to understand that what he's doing could be, his position could be construed of obstruction. Fine. Whatever, because I've said from the whole time, like, this Robert Mueller guy, he's a Republican, he's an FBI guy, but I do believe he is what you would call a patriot and is diligent about doing what he perceives as his duty. So, like, if his report, exhaustive research, says inconclusive or negative, I think it would behoove us all to fucking move on, even if it's sketchy, even if it's but what about this, but what about that, but what about like, there's so many fucking things to attack this guy on that are legitimate pain points for many, many people. Like, honestly, I would have a sense of mild relief if the Mueller report comes back truly negative, because my brain is constantly exploded at the idea that maybe the American people elected a person that's actually been captured by a foreign nation. Like, that's always seemed like a really outside crazy shot, right? Like, that was always like, if we're being like, that was always like, but the narrative is seductive, because that means it was all a trick, and maybe we can undo it all, and maybe it doesn't say some awful things about the country that we live in, and we can go back to pretending that, like, things were a lot better. So, yeah, I think we should, you know, like, or on the other thing is, like, because we still don't know, because this is a crazy world we're living in, the games that are being played now, I don't know. I don't know, because this is the exact same logic I used to support the invasion of Iraq. Why would Saddam Hussein act like a crazy person that has biological and nuclear weapons and play all these fucking games with the UN inspectors and rattle all these sabers and do all this stuff? Why would a person do that? It turns out some megalomaniacs are just crazy fucking people that play these stupid fucking games for prestige purposes, or because their yes men underneath them are lying to them because, oh no, it turns out we lost all that shit and we haven't been able to do it, but we don't want to be beheaded, so we're blowing a bunch of... I don't fucking know, but I went through that one time with the Iraq war, and I'm going to go through it again with this fucking Trump-Russia shit. So,
yeah, I don't think the fallout from this Mueller report is the thing that potentially puts Trump in the White House for another 4 years. I think the division of the people will potentially do that more swiftly. Like, if we get a big battle over what the Democratic Party is going to look like for the future,
if Russia starts fucking with the liberal side as much as
I mean, they don't even have to. Like, if we have all this infighting over people who generally agree on most things, but get very hung up on small points, like we did in 2016 over, like, Bernie versus Hillary versus like some other candidate, like, that's the thing that's going to potentially sink this fucking rising ship here.
Right.
Is just splitting our forces and saying, okay, well, they don't believe perfectly in what I believe, and that's the thing I already see gearing up, is going so far to the left where you push the moderates into an actionable decision. Whereas right now, most of the moderates are going to come over to the left because they've seen what the right has done. And it's a much easier sell if we have somebody who isn't, you know, pushing for the absolute extremes. Like, I think the absolute extremes are sometimes what we want to happen eventually, but to try and just make that big push all at once might drive enough people away that you don't make any push, and in fact you get drugged to the other side. And that's the thing that I'm most scared about for 2020.
Yeah. I actually disagree, but it would take like 20 minutes to talk about the disagreement. It's not a substantive disagreement, because my thing is like I want the most left candidate to win the nomination for the Democratic Party, because I think all of these people are well within acceptable electability parameters. So like, why not go with the one that's the most left? And then I would expect anyone that cares about progressive agenda to get behind that one person, because whoever it's going to be is going to be infinitely better across a wide spectrum of issues than Donald J. Trump. So like I'm trying to think like
you said that about the last election too.
But we also made the most. We also the Democratic Party put forward the most centrist establishment candidate they possibly could have against, you know, a lunatic that was promising, you know, rainbow, the Republican version of rainbow, sunshine, and kitten kisses. So I mean, like, Bernie Sanders is not he's certainly far to the left, but he's not like,
no, he's not as far to the left as some people.
Who are you thinking of? Like, I guess maybe I haven't kept up with like the real, like, if there's like
I don't know about the candidate. Like, I'm not following this yet.
Oh, okay.
Like,
okay.
I know there are a lot of people who have been talking about running, but like, I look at some of the stuff that like AOC is doing, and like I agree with basically all of her positions. Mm-hmm. I just think that's a very far left position for the most part, and like
I think you're right.
Like saying, look, you're not far enough left for us, so we're going to actually run against you and like try and push you out of your position to get people more far left in there. Like,
yeah, maybe
that works. Maybe that is what this country has been waiting for. But then again, I know there are a lot more people in the middle than there are on either extreme. So,
but I don't know, because like honestly, there's a lot of this is like we have to like win. We have to start persuading, like being persuasive, like arguing, because like what I've observed in the last 16 years, and probably the last 30, but I can definitely say for the last 16 is Republicans have moved far to the right. Mm-hmm. And then the Democrats triangulate and put forth centrists like Bill Clinton, and believe it or not, Barack Obama, pretty centrist candidate. And so the perceived public middle keeps shifting right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think that it's going to take a concentrated effort to like unpack some of the like there's some things that like just are almost like 10 years ago, the idea that we'd have universal health care was damn near unthinkable in this country. 10 years later, because of, you know, Obamacare and some other things have changed as a shift, that's actually now a pretty super majority opinion in the United States. I think it's well over 65%. It might be as high as 70% that we should have some form of universal health care. Mm. So the question is, would we be here at all if it wasn't for Obamacare? Or the other question is, what if Joe Lieberman wasn't a massive fucking douchebag and we actually had a public option? So we had a Medicare for all option that people could have observed competing for the last 10 years against private insurance, and they could have made it like we might even be further ahead. So like I just think that like that's the whole point of a primary. Try to get as left and progressive and a great a candidate as you can get through, and then see if they win in the general. But like sending up a kind of a milquetoast centrist, because there are Democrats today running that are like, well, I'm not sure about universal health care, and I'm not sure about drug legalization, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's too far center.
All those fucking people can like not even be considered as candidates as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know. If you get enough moderates thinking that shit scares us, then who knows what we might get. But
yeah, what I really don't want to see is another repeat of 2016 where a leftist is running against the Democratic Party, and we're dividing people who would normally vote Democrat because they think there's a better alternative, when in fact what they're doing is just giving up any alternative.
I hope so, but man, like it's like
that's the thing that scares me, is like getting somebody who goes rogue. I like Bernie Sanders last time, like I agreed with more of his opinions than Hillary Clinton, almost across the board, and then, but I at the same time think he kind of fucked up the election for the Democrats. And not for the Democrats, for the left.
It's easy to make the argument because, like, what was it, like 70,000 votes across 3 straight states? Like, yeah. So, like, it was
super close, and he had a big percentage of the vote. You could
name like 5 different things that swung the election, but that, yeah, sure, yeah. The fact that Bernie kind of like, but
that he trucked on, even though he got voted down by the Democratic Party. Like,
but so here's the thing: it's like, and I'm still, I don't know what the right answer is. I'm just talking out loud because I still haven't, like, I need to give this a lot. But like, there's a school of thought on the left that what Bernie did is actually net better, because 4 years later, the Democratic National Platform is essentially his platform. So he won that ideological war. And yes, we got 4 years of Trump, but if it staved off more centrism that would drag the country further right, because the Republicans are going to scream and yell about Hillary for 4 more years, and there's going to be a whole bunch of Benghazi talk and email talk and all that stuff, and we're going to be more polarized. Like, is it, at what point is it better just to be like, like the Republicans went into the desert for like 10 years and when there's the Tea Party takeover, maybe you have to do that to kind of like get your party where you want it. Where I think the Republican Party now is crazy, and I think there is a version of the Democratic Party that could become, in my, if the eat the rich, guillotine the middle class, smash all capitalism forces take over too soon, I think we could get some real problems there. But like, from what I can see, there's a lot of room to the left to move. But
yeah, I mean, it's easy to throw up what ifs and maybes, but the one thing we know happened is we split the vote and Donald Trump won, and we've been worse off for it. That's a fact. That's a reality. And if we do that again, what the fuck are we doing?
Right. But that's what I say. Like, we're dangerously close to having a 20-minute discussion. We should do it sometime though. Okay, your turn.
AC Star says the cast of The Expanse has been referencing the Screaming Firehawks on social media, so I looked it up and found out it's what the cast calls us in the fan base. It made me wonder what names you would give to your Bald Move fan base. Bald Movers is too boring.
Oh man, that's my favorite one. So, I mean, some people put forward Baldies, which, like, that's not great.
Yeah, it's not something you would want to name an award show after.
I actually think I've said this before, but I like collectively referring to the fan base as the Bald Movement. Mm-hmm. It's like the Blue Jean Committee, the Bald Movement.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that? I guess that's what they're doing. Is they're defining the name for everyone.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I really even want to do that. Like, I want the community to come up with its own name.
Yeah, labels.
What does the community want to call itself?
What do they do but divide us?
No, it's like, yeah, you got to name a kid because the kid is too brain dead to name itself when it's born. Well, so you got to give it something.
You go with Kratos and his boy.
But like, we should have,
girl.
Before you go off to college, you get a second naming, right? It's like a confirmation.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so you get to choose your own fucking name once you've lived 18 years on this planet.
Yeah, when your adult name.
Yeah,
so it'd be a rite of passage.
Yeah, so let the community make up a name. I want to hear what the community's name for itself would be.
Thus starts the first the doctrinal war of Bald. I guess it'd be the second doctrinal war, maybe the third. We've had a few. Tamale X with them, or is this your turn? Yeah. Notice that the final season of Telltale's The Walking Dead has finally ended, and I was wondering when we might see the conclusion of the Bald Move classic, Bad Guy Clementine. Yeah, so he goes on to suspect that with the Game of Thrones season coming soon, I doubt this will be anytime soon, but maybe sometime will open up in the fall when the dust has settled. Life is Strange Season 2 is announced. The episode release dates too, but the final episode isn't scheduled to December. We did see that. So my guess is that if it's really true that they got the last Telltale adventure, that'll be something we look forward towards one of our next seasonal club content. Because we're excited to play. We have a lot of fun. People seem to like it, so why the fuck not?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
But certainly not before Game of Thrones is over.
I just wish we could do that with television, that live watch without being fucked with.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Nate A says, hard to believe it's been 25 years today since Kurt Cobain's death. Jim, What is your favorite Nirvana song? I like a lot of the weirder ones. Actually, I like a lot of stuff off Bleach, but those are very simple songs. I don't know. I think it's called Recess, or No Recess, or School, or something. It's the one where he just shouts No Recess over and over. I like Heart Shaped Box. That's obviously a great one.
That was going to be mine.
Yeah,
but I'm not as steeped in the lore as Jim.
There's stuff Incesticide is a weird album that you almost never hear songs off of because they're not single material at all. But there's some stuff on there that I like.
Deep cuts.
Yeah. I could go to the banks of the Muddy Wishkah if you really want to get deep.
You could do what?
Go to the banks of the Muddy Wishkah, which is a posthumous album that was released, or a posthumous song on an album, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the first track, maybe the fourth track. Can't remember. It's been a long time since I listened to Nirvana in any like focused way. I did have Bleach playing here a couple of months ago in the basement, just totally cranked on this sweet ass Sonos system I've got.
Starting the promos early this year.
Yeah.
Must be Game of Thrones season.
Sonos.com/Paul. I don't even know if that's a thing.
Are we supposed to, let me ask you this. Are we supposed to like, what's the, cause like, okay, because it's Game of Thrones season again. We got a bunch of ad shit coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What are people like? What are people interested in as far as that? Like, should we like post some video or pictures or videos of some of the, because like some of this Wi-Fi gear is like legit cool and looks cool.
Oh yeah, I just got some in today.
Are we supposed to like put? Because I don't know. Because I like the last thing I want to do is like feel like that I'm like selling stuff out, but like I've got this Bombfell stuff and I'm kind of legit excited to see what I look like in the clothes. And can I put that on Instagram with people? Especially if I marked it as like this is a promotional by Bombfell, blah blah blah.
So
but
you
this is
can't put the promo codes or the URLs on any platform other than the podcast.
Oh really?
Because they want that
okay.
to be pure.
Okay, well then fuck them. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
I was
you can shout them out on Twitter. Or
well, I'm
whatever,
sure they encourage that, but I'm like,
So
if it's not going to
familiar.
improve our performance, then
Right. Yeah.
I'm also not inclined to. So, all right, fuck that. Anyway, Noel from Dallas wants to know. Apparently, yesterday was National Burrito Day. I'm sure Jim celebrated accordingly. Do you ever pay attention to these so-called national days? It seems like once or twice a week it's something different.
No.
And I swear that National Pizza Day happens 4 times a year. Did you
No.
eat a burrito on National Burrito Day?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's just because it's a
Every day is-
ending in Y.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you'll notice on the Bald Move feed, like I do make notes of certain holidays, and it's the ones that I'm personally interested in. Like I tend to like Christmas, I tend to like Thanksgiving, I tend to like Halloween, I tend to like 4th of July, and I tend to very not even pay attention to the rest of the holidays of the calendar. In fact, a lot of times Jim and I forget that it's like, oh shit, it's Good Friday. Technically, we shouldn't be working. What does that even mean?
I didn't.
The only
Is there
day
anything
I
I'm not
pay.
supposed to eat today? Is that a thing?
You're
I
not
haven't
supposed
had any fish today. Is that a?
I
that sounds like
you,
a
you,
thing
you didn't
that-
come in with your ash on your forehead, so you're already fucked. I mean,
Yeah.
you skipped a whole bunch of steps here.
Whoops.
But yeah, I don't. I mean, the only day everyone should pay attention to is, of course, National Singing in the Rain Day, which we observed, I think, 2 weeks ago. So put that one on your calendar. That's March 24th. Your turn.
I scrolled the wrong way. Eric Walquist says, just got back from Palm Springs and Joshua Tree National Park.
I saw some pictures of his lovely family on Facebook.
Which national parks have y'all been to? Any favorites? Smoky Mountains? Do
Yeah,
they have
the
a-
Daniel Boone.
Do they have a national park there? Because that's probably... I don't make it a point to go to national parks. I'm not an outdoors kid. I don't know if you've noticed this,
Yeah.
but I tend to keep my bionic husk indoors as much as possible.
I have stayed at lots of different national parks. The Dunes Lake or Indiana Dunes. There's a national Dunes park and there's a state, the Indiana State. They're like right next to each other. I stayed in the federal one, the national one. Been to Mammoth Park or Mammoth Cave. Let's see what else. The Daniel Boone National Forest. I believe Red River Gorge is national, but I couldn't swear to it. And there's just a lot of really lovely state parks that we've got in Indiana and Ohio that I've been to. As a kid, I went to McCormick's Creek Park a lot in Indianapolis, and we've gone to, I'm trying to think of, like, there's the Edge of Appalachia Preserve that we went to last year, and we went to Hocking Hills, and I know there's a bunch of state parks along like Indian Mounds and stuff, like Fort Ancient, and I think there's one called like Indian Mound Park. And then we went to, I forget what the state park was last year that was on the Lake Ontario up here. Or no, it's not Ontario. What is the Erie? I forget what that, like the North Shore Park, but yeah, I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't really done this outside the Midwest because like camping and all that stuff's only been on my radar for like the last 7 or 8 years. So,
Is
and
Pikes Peak in a national park or God Park?
Pikes
not-
Peak.
Yeah, in Colorado. Is
I don't
that
know.
in a
I've
national
never-
park? Because I went there and the Garden of the Gods. Those might be in state.
That's where you bury
Parks.
your pets and they come back to life.
Yeah.
Garden of the Tiny God or something. Your turn.
No.
Oh, it's my turn. Augustine. I'm usually pretty calm and relaxed, but if you blatantly cut me off, I'm totally going to ride your bumper. That and driving below the speed limit on an interstate in a passing lane gets my road rage to level 10. What dick moves do other drivers do that trigger your road rage? Happy Friday.
General slowness. Like if you're driving 5 miles an hour under the speed limit, which happens often on the road I take for my weekly or my daily burrito pilgrimage, then I get annoyed. Luckily, it's a 2-lane road.
I think, yeah, failure to yield the passing lane is also when a semi cuts me off to go past the other semi at 0.01 mile an hour faster than the other one is a pretty blood pressure raising scenario. But you know, I inherited a severe road rage from my dad, and my sister is as bad, if not worse than him. And I started off that way, but like I think in my late 20s, I'm like, I had a series of like 1 hour long commutes, and it kind of like got me. I had to get to a place that I had to be zen, and I'm like, I'm just going to leave 20 minutes early, and if I get to work early, then I can make myself a hot cocoa, or I can take a nice long shit and browse my cell phone, or I can check out you
Maybe
know what I
do
mean?
both.
Like it's so much better to just not. Then I can just not even care. I can not even pay attention to what the assholes are doing. I get lost in a podcast or music, and that helped me out a lot because I was going to probably end up dying or exploding from stress or something like that. Because an hour long commute, you're going to deal with several assholes every single time, both ways. It's just too much asshole to come across. All right.
People were asking about chipmunk mode. Gabe says he loves it. Keep going. Asked, is it a belated April Fool's joke? There is a tank of helium been slowly leaking into my basement. No, none of the above. Just technology.
They say helium's a good way to die. Because
A good way to die?
asphyxiates it without provoking your body's suffocation response.
And it's also hilarious.
And it's hilarious. So you essentially just like, I can't believe I want to die sounding like this. And you just keel over.
And hopefully you've I don't know, live streamed it. Hopefully you're on Twitch when
Your
it
last
happens.
words will be hilarious.
Yep.
Guaranteed. Okay. Is it my? Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah. Wait, my turn?
Is it? I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I read Gabe's thing, but here, okay.
Here's another one.
Yeah, Pin Y. This is my girlfriend's pin company that she's starting.
Uh-huh.
It's like Gen Y, except Pin Y, P-I-N-Y.
It makes offensive versions of different animal pins.
Yes. This one, however, is not an offensive version of an animal pin. It's sort of an unveiling of sorts because Game of Thrones is coming up, and she's going to have her grand opening of her store on Tuesday, and she wanted me to show this pin off. So she tagged it, #BaldLunch. Here, let me see if I can get this non-offensive pin up on camera while you're reading another one.
Okay. I actually want to see it too. Is this the house snow pin? Yeah. Oh, neat.
It's going to be blurry as hell, though.
Yours is like, you might have autofocus on. That actually looks pretty good. Jake from...
But we'll be selling those come Game of Thrones time, so keep an eye.
Jake from... What is it? Jake from State Farm? I'm currently in a long-distance relationship. I live in Florida. My girlfriend lives in D.C. I'm relocating to the District of Columbia this summer, and we both want to live together, but her parents are staunch Catholics and strongly believe in not living together until marriage.
How old are you?
Long enough to be moving distance and moving in with people.
All right.
I'm getting my own place for the first year as a compromise. My question is, how would you handle approaching her parents about us living together before marriage when the time comes? Man...
Oof.
Ah,
I'm trying to think of how my parents would have reacted. It wouldn't have been good. It would have been roughly the same, I think.
I think that you have to approach this as if you are setting the tone for the rest of a relationship with this person and her family. And you need to have a serious conversation with your girlfriend about, like, how much shit are we willing to gargle for your parents' esteem? How receptive will they be to pushbacks? Because the reality is you guys are both adults and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
I got a solution for you.
And there's people in their church, I guarantee you, living in sin, and they're not bursting into flames or being denied communion or going to hell or whatever. That kind of, so, like, I mean, this is kind of like, how much pain do you and your girlfriend want to go through vis-a-vis these people? How much control over your life do you want to give them? And what are the implications? Like, what if you guys get married and you have kids? Are you going to be cool with the grandparents transgressing your parental rights and lecturing your kids on what is right and wrong and moral from your perspective? Because that's the road you're heading down if you kowtow to this shit too much. That's my opinion.
It's true. And if you really want to both teach your folks a lesson and also play by the letter of the law here, what you do is you both rent apartments that are literally next door to each other, and then just install a door between the two
Get
apartments.
a duplex.
Or live out of a couple of hotel rooms next to each other and just leave
Yeah.
the door between rooms open
Right.
constantly. Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, okay, we're not technically living together. We're just living right next door to each other.
And I think there's also, like, I'm not trying to be too
It might
hard.
make them question, like, what the fuck they're thinking.
I also think that's, like, I don't think you should also just, like, storm their castle. Like, there is a room to be kind of, like, allow culture shock, and because I don't think it's great to just burn relationships like that down to the ground. But, like, you know, just figure out where your line's going to be and try to be assertive, because, you know, like, I don't know, man. I got bad experiences with religious people in my life. I'm probably the last person to ask, you know.
Nah, I like the duplex solution better.
Duplex is the perfect compromise.
Yeah.
And then you can secretly move into each other and then rent the other side out, and then you're making more money.
There you go.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, C Drive had a good question. Oh, wait, this is your turn. Do you have another one?
I do. Paul says, love you both, but this question is for Jim. Don't want to stir up any friction, but I've noticed Aaron misses a lot of Jim's funniest comments because he talks over them. Jim, does it bother you, or have you accepted at this point? Paul F. in Oklahoma. Paul from Oklahoma. For the most part, I've accepted it. Every once in a while, it annoys me, but not to the point where, you know, I'm gonna storm off set or anything. It's and it also kind of helps that I know the audience catches these things. So, like, even if you don't catch them, and we just blow past a joke that I made, I'm like, well, the audience got that, so no big deal.
It's the perils of like not really going over anything before we begin. Because you have to spend a bit of your time while the other person's talking, kind of like thinking about, like, what you're going to be saying, but you also got to be responsive, and, like, I humor, especially deadpan humor, is hard to pick up in those circumstances, because every once in a while it happens in reverse.
Most of what I do, yeah.
And, like, Cecily, a lot of times, like, you know, like, she's, like, going for a joke, and I think she's being serious, and I treat it as such, or so there you go.
Yeah, no, it doesn't annoy me that much.
C Drive wants to know, can we get a bald move first? Jim and Aaron review a 40X movie experience. Oh, so this is
40X, yeah.
So we looked this up, and it turns out it's like the closest one's like 4 or 5 hours away, which not beyond the realm of possibility. I'm trying to think of, like, a movie that we want to go see as a 40X experience.
Fast and the Furious.
Oh, I was thinking, or like something like Crazy Gonzo, like Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever. You don't know that the one he's making about the Charles Manson murders? Is this something?
Is that a good 40X, like your seat moves,
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, what would a Quentin Tarantino
I don't even know. I was thinking something with a lot of action in it. But
okay. I was
is
trying
it
to
a
go.
Charles Manson thing to have a lot of action?
I'm just thinking, like, people getting stabbed, or like when someone hits a bong, or, you know.
your entire booth just fills up with marijuana.
Well, ideally, but I was
For
thinking
the weed smoke.
I was thinking fog, because it's not part like it sprays water on you. It blasts.
Oh, does it
scents
do
and-
that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it
yeah.
had just moved.
No, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's go.
Okay, here it goes. Quick summary on 4DX, helpfully provided by C Drive. Seats move up, down, left, right, A, B, B, A, select, start.
Oh.
Tilt, left, forward, right, back, vibrate, and kick. Air, water, mist, and
Okay.
scents.
Since, yeah.
Shoot from the seats in front of you. Seats shoot rain upwards. Seats have tickle wands around your legs. Walls have wind, water, mist, strobe lights, bubbles, and artificial snow. Floors have fog, and you wear real 3D glasses.
Okay, I want to see the Game of Thrones finale in one of these. I want to see the fucking Game of Thrones
Can you
finale.
imagine a scene
I
of-
want to see the Battle of Winterfell in one of these things.
What about Sam cleaning out the chamber pots? Then it's like, no,
No.
I want a real 3D nose plug.
Oh, God.
I can taste it.
Oh, what about, like, Pet Cemetery would have been interesting.
Yeah, that
Like, that cat walks
that
in
cat
and you get the
looks-
stench of death, and, like, you're walking through that creepy forest with the fog at your feet and stuff's tickling you, and then they jab you with needles to simulate bee stings. I don't know.
That's. But yeah, I don't want to simulate a bee stings. Do I have a simulated allergy to it?
Yes.
Can I get a simulated?
They'll beat you.
They'll bill me $500 for a simulated EpiPen. IDK. Oh, I don't know, but my BFF Jill asks. I've noticed that you guys call it Groundhog's Day, but I've always thought it was Groundhog Day with no S. Is it more common in Midwest to call it Groundhog's Day? Maybe, or maybe I'm just a mush mouth, and I poorly differentiate concepts like that. Do you say groundhog or groundhogs?
I try to say groundhog when I remember, but I don't care that much, so it comes out as both.
Okay.
I know I've said it wrong in the past, and I know I've intentionally said it right in the past.
All right. Do you have another one?
No,
We're
that's
getting
it.
towards the end here. D from Australia says, have you guys seen the new trailer for season 2 of Cobra Kai? And if so, what'd you think? I'm hella excited for it. I thought the trailer looked great. I didn't see the first season of Cobra Kai, and I doubt I'll watch the second season.
I didn't. Everybody says it's amazing.
Amazing or better
Yeah.
than you thought it would be? Because I've heard a lot of
No,
it's
everybody
better than I thought
says
you'd...
like
Really?
it's great. Yeah. And I don't know what to do because it was on YouTube Red. Now I think it's still.
I have
like,
YouTube Red. I could watch it if I wanted to.
I'm not going to sign up for YouTube Red. You have to give me your credentials. We'd have to.
I'm just not that interested
Break the
in
law.
it, honestly. I didn't have a huge, intense relationship with Karate Kid when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch it because karate... Is my understanding the karate channeled spiritistic...
If you're in a
foreign
Mortal
god
Kombat
energy.
movie, yeah, but not with
The
not
chi?
if you're fucking
Didn't
Ralph
Mr. Miyagi
Macchio.
rub his ankle and heal it with some kind of
No,
chi power?
Most of the time, he just sprayed his fucking bonsai trees
Yeah,
with
but
water.
that's how the demons get you.
Regular ass
Satan's
water.
an angel of light. He transforms himself into beautiful things to deceive you. First he's Mr. Miyagi, and then he's channeling your chi, and your spirit's possessed. And now what are you going to do? You're possessed by Japanese demon gods.
No, so
Christ. Now what are you going to do?
I understand that most witness kids were not allowed to watch those types of things because they're violent.
Also violent, yes.
Yeah, karate, like we weren't allowed to take karate classes, therefore like you couldn't watch karate movies. My dad definitely had a strong exception to that though. He watched martial arts films all the time. So Karate Kid was definitely something that I grew up with, and
California
I have a
Jehovah's
fondness.
Witnesses, man.
They're liberal.
You guys are riding on the edge watching kung fu movies?
So I think I would like this
I heard
show if
some
it's
of you
good as
got-
everybody says.
Some of the sisters out there get 2 piercings in their ears?
Yeah, one at the
Crazy.
very top.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's easier to hide though. That one.
What are you going to do?
Hide it with a strategically placed headband.
Speaking of our old tribe, Jim, Shelley says, my stepmother and half-sisters became Jehovah's Witnesses about 12 years ago and pulled away from the years to the point that I don't even know them anymore. I haven't even seen them in about 4 years. I'm sorry to hear that, Shelley. I'm going to be attending my sister's wedding shower this weekend and the wedding next month at a Kingdom Hall where most everyone will be Jehovah's Witnesses. Do you have any advice on how to deal with it, being one of the few atheists among the large crowd of witnesses, or any insight into JW weddings?
They're not that weird.
Well, especially since like the really weird thing is if you were a Jehovah's Witness and you had drifted away yourself, it would be
Yeah.
very uncomfortable and weird for you. But
There's not a lot of
honestly,
expectation for you in that room.
they're going to be on their best behavior. They're going to be as charming and as friendly and engaging and as on as possible. Because especially if they find out that you are not yourself a believer. I mean, you could definitely get some strange looks if you rock some edgy atheist T-shirts or showed up with black nail polish or a studded collar or some shit like that. But
Yeah.
assuming you're going to dress as a mainstream American or whatever country you live in, and you're not going to be like swearing a bunch, or even then, like I think witnesses. I remember a few like when like a new Bible study was coming over, and like they didn't know about like the not swear so much, and they would like still be pretty casual with the profanity. The other witnesses, it was like kind of a source of amusement. Like, can you get a load of this guy? It wasn't like, oh my God, what are you? So I think you'll be fine. Just if you start being convinced by the rhetoric, come back and I'll set you straight. This is a good one. Z74AL from Kansas. Have you either been fired from a job? If so, how did it affect you?
I told this story a couple weeks ago about telling my boss that I hated my job. And then lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I'm fired. Of course. That's the only time I've been fired from a job. So.
Yeah, I guess this is a firing. So like, I worked for a software development company that was like had 36 people working, and then they delivered the product, and it was in the kind of maintenance mode.
Yeah.
And then so like went down to like a staff of 12, and then they staffed up to try to do a new version, and we went up to 24 people, and I was kind of on that team. But the new version had some fatal flaws, and so it was it was undercapitalized, and like none of the users wanted to jump to that, so there was a lot of money troubles. So the team shrank from 36 to 24 to 12 to 6, and it was just like me and 2 technical support technicians and 2 programmers and like a DBA and the guy that owned the company. And the whole time he's like, hey, we're going to be fine. And I don't know, this seems so fucking naive and stupid because I was like 26 at the time. But like, I believed that my job was secure up until the day he said, I'm sorry, I cannot make payroll this week. I got to send you guys all home.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
The telltale story.
So is that laid off? Is like the distinction laid off? And I found that like the shock to my system. And again, I don't know why this took me by surprise. If this ever happened to me again, I would have been like one of the early ones out the door.
Yeah.
But I really thought that the guy would be straight with me about the situation, the company and the money and all that kind of stuff. So it felt like getting fired, but it was probably more of a layoff.
Yeah.
And then like I said, my company got sold out from underneath me, and I was not retained by I was in the upper management, so I was not retained by the transition team. So that I didn't feel like I was fired either.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh man, there's just a lot of Chip and Dale jokes. Okay, that's it. We survived another lunch. It was a trial. We had helium escape. We had chipmunks rampaging. Had to start and stop the thing 3 times, but we got through it. We got through it, Jim.
Now I gotta edit this monster.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for your support. Thanks for stopping by and joining us on this Friday for another lunch with Jim and Aaron. We'll be back next week, maybe in a new space.
Oh. Definitely be back. Maybe in a new space.
Definitely be back. Maybe in a new space. Definitely next week after that. Like, there's going to be big changes happening in the next couple of weeks. Lots of exciting things. Hold on to your ass. It's Game of Thrones. Also, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll talk about the other stuff. Like, I got so much shit to do this weekend. This first fulfilling the Gods of Thrones stuff. So. godsofthrones.com if you want to check out the book and buy yourself a copy or get some sweet ass merch.
Oh, you club members, you're gonna get a treat coming up here.
What's that? I want to know about it.
Yeah, I've been working on it. I worked on it yesterday.
A treat?
They're gonna get a treat for club members.
All right, club member treat.
Something that's never happened before in the history of Bald Move.
It's a free pistol
No,
pin.
no, you can't give away blackface pins. Come on.
No, we gotta paint him gold first. We've
Right.
talked about this in chipmunk mode. Chipmunk mode. All right. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. See ya.